Well, rain's ruined a lot of roads this year. Now National's promising to make it rain to build new ones. There won't just be a splash of cash, more like a torrential downpour lasting a decade.
They've unveiled a $26 billion Transport for the Future plan, which, as political reporter Lloyd Burr explains, resurrects John Key's roads of national significance.
State Highway 1 south of Cambridge is one of the most notorious crash black spots in the country. Locals are all too familiar with tragic scenes like this. National's promising to do something about it.
Roads of national significance. And yes, we're bringing back the hugely successful program started under the last National government.
This time around, Luxon's supercharging it, unveiling National's version of the space race.
You know, John F. Kennedy said, let's go to the moon, and people landed on the moon in 9.5 years. And we have a habit here in New Zealand of spending 25 years talking about things and not actually getting things done.
So he's chosen to talk about turning 13 roads into 4-lane highways over 10 years. Whangarei to Marsden Point, Warkworth to Wellsford, a bypass around Kumeu, Auckland's east-west link, Mill Road in Manukau, Hamilton's southern links, the Cambridge to Paerere link, stage 2 of Tauranga North. Also in Tauranga is 4-laning Tauriko. In the capital there's the Granada-Petone link and a second tunnel underneath Mount Vic. The South Island only gets 2 projects, Nelson's Hope Bypass and Canterbury's Wood End Bypass.
The South Island roads are actually in pretty good shape and the congestion impacts down there are less.
Justin Tai Umbers represents thousands of truckies. He says National's plan will be a godsend for productivity.
Because the roading network's in such poor shape, we're losing millions of dollars every day because of detours, road closures and driver shortage.
But it won't come cheap. The package has a price tag of $26 billion.
This is the most transparent, upfront costings you've ever seen from an opposition party.
Not if you ask Transport Minister David Parker. He says there's a $2.8 billion pothole in just 4 of the projects he's looked at.
I won't take any lectures from David Parker or this government on our costings.
They should be asked where the money's coming from.
Or we open up access to new financing tools, and it might well mean, as we see with tolls, as we've seen with value capture, as we've seen with targeted rates, things that we can do in order to get that infrastructure built quicker and also not put that burden on the taxpayer of New Zealand. So we are open up for everything.
Celebrating the return of roads of national significance with a selfie of national politicians.
Well, Lloyd joins us now. Kia ora, Lloyd. So did National undercook how much it would cost to build some of these roads?
Yeah, well, the government's certainly saying that, as you heard there from David Parker. But here's a spanner, Mike. National's actually saying that the figures that they used in their costings actually came from David Parker's office in a parliamentary written question from 3 weeks ago. And they're right. I've had a look at it, and that's the information that they got from David Parker. But looking at it, it's actually from 2021. So the figure they got was from 2021. David Parker came out today and said, well, actually, I've gone to Waka Kotahi and we've revised it up. It's no longer $721 million like I told you 3 weeks ago. It could be as high as $2 billion, so a significant increase there, more than doubling of the cost that he sent them. A lot of squabbling today over the battle of the billions.
And Lloyd, the government unveiled its own roading announcement today.
Yeah, not as beefy as the $26 billion plan that National announced, but certainly pretty damn significant for the communities that it's going to affect. They've announced the immediate release of just over $500 million for the rebuild of roads in Hawke's Bay and Tairāwhiti and in Coromandel and in Northland as well. That's for the immediate repair of some of those roads up there. And it's not going to be the end of it. There's a big pot of money, $6 billion. So they'll announce this over the course of the next year. This was announced in the aftermath of the cyclones earlier this year.
Lloyd Burr live from Parliament. Tēnā koe.